How did I get here? I used to go live every day, laugh with chat, grind the game until my eyes burned. Streaming wasn't just my job, it was my life. But that night, the viewers didn't see a streamer having fun. They saw a man get bitten live on camera. Now the only thing I'm streaming is death. The streamer who couldn't log off. Part 1. Before streaming was my life, not a hobby, not a side hustle. It was my everything. 8 hours a day, sometimes more. Talking to a chat box filled with names I knew better than some of my real friends, making people laugh, making rent one sub at a time. It wasn't just about gaming, it was about connection. It's about keeping people company who didn't have anyone else. About feeling like the screen between us didn't matter. That day started like any other. I went live just after lunch. Pulled up the game. Chat was already buzzing. Yo, first, let's go. Streamer o'clock, baby. We were 2 hours into a run when I noticed it. The sirens. They'd been going for a while, but I'd tuned them out. City life, you know? But now they were closer, louder. And my chat noticed too. Bro, what's going on outside? Is that part of the game? IRL event? I laughed it off. Probably just another fire drill or something. Then came the banging on my door. Not a knock. A slam. Like someone was trying to break it down. I muted the mic, went to the door. Who is it? No answer. Just another slam, and then a low growl. I stepped back, heart pounding. My chat was spamming. Open IT. Don't open IT. The door cracked inward with the next hit, and he came through. Blood down his chin, eyes pale, teeth bared. I stumbled back into my desk, knocking the webcam sideways. My audience saw it all. The flash of him grabbing me, the struggle, the bite sinking deep into my arm. I screamed. Chat exploded. Emotes flying across the screen. Is this real? Call 911, bro, WTF. I shoved him off and he crashed into my shelving unit, knocking everything to the floor. Controllers, figures, memories. Blood poured down my sleeve. I grabbed my phone to call for help, but the connection was gone. Either my internet dropped or my provider had already gone. Dark. The man on my floor twitched once, then went still. I looked into the camera at the thousands of people still watching and said the last thing I'd ever say is myself. I think I'm done streaming for today. I ended the broadcast. Sat back in my chair, clutching my arm, waited for the fever. During streaming in the afterlife, when I came back, I wasn't breathing. Didn't even notice at first. I was just standing there in my chair, headset still around my neck, screen still glowing in front of me. The room smelled like copper and sweat. The bite on my arm was black now. Veins like spider webs crawling up toward my shoulder. I didn't feel pain, didn't feel much of anything, but there was this pulse inside my head. Not a heartbeat, not music. A rhythm, low, constant, and my camera light was still on. I don't know if I went live again, or if it never shut off. But in the corner of the screen, chat was still moving. Slower now, less hype, more horror. What's wrong with his eyes? Why is he just standing there? Bro, this isn't funny anymore. I tilted my head toward the screen. Couldn't read the messages, but I could see the colors of the names. Bright little bursts of the world I used to live in. The hunger hit quick, not like food hunger, not like craving pizza at 3 a.m. This was raw, chemical, violent. My body moved on its own. I stepped out of frame, heard my front door creak open, and there was my neighbor. Todd, mid-30s, used to bring me energy drinks before long streams. Hey man, are you okay? We saw. I hit him before he finished, knocked him to the floor. My teeth found his throat without hesitation. Hot rush. Metal taste. And for a split second, the rhythm in my head, synced with the slurping sound, was wrong. But my body didn't think so. When I was done, I turned back toward my desk, stepped in front of the camera again. Chat had exploded. Call the police. Oh my God, killed him. This isn't a bit. Stop streaming this. I stared into the lens, tilted my head again. Somewhere deep inside, the old me wanted to say something. Anything. But all that came out was a wet, guttural groan. And I didn't hit end stream this time. I just walked out of frame. At first, it was just instinct. Step forward, bite, feed, move on. But somewhere between the second and third body, I started, remembering not their names, not exactly, but faces. The way they'd smile when they'd wave at me from the hallway. The way my neighbor Todd always asked about my viewer count. And now, they were gone. Because of me. I wandered back into my apartment, door hanging open. Rain dripping in from the awning outside. The glow from my setup still cutting through the dark like a spotlight. And there it was. My stream. Still live. Chat was a flood of panic. Mods spamming warnings. Donos popping up with messages like, "This has to be a joke, right? Bro, stop. This is messed up. Call 911 now." I stood in front of the lens, staring. The hunger whispered for me to go back outside, find more. But the part of me that was still human, it didn't want them to see this. Not my community. Not the people who'd been with me since my first shaky, no mic streams. Not the ones who'd carried me through my own depression just by showing up in chat every day. My hand twitched toward the mouse. It's not to click end stream, to wave. I didn't mean to. It just happened. Slow, jerky movement. A mimic of the friendly wave I used to give when starting my streams. And chat went wild. What the hell? He's waving? Oh my god, he knows. Please, Mark, snap out of IT, hearing my name. Seeing it in bold, neon-colored text, it was like a jolt. I stepped back from the desk, shook my head, clawed at my hair. The hunger didn't like this. It roared inside me, pushed my body toward the door again. But even as I left the frame, I caught my reflection in the dark window next to my setup. Cloudy eyes, blood on my mouth. But behind it all, flicker of me. And that scared me more than anything, because if I could still see me in there, then I knew exactly what I was doing. And I was still doing it. Part 3. After it happened, in the middle of the night. I'd wandered for hours, drifting between alleys and parking lots. Not hunting, just buffering. My body stuck between two frames, hunger and hesitation. I ended up back where it all started. My apartment, my chair. My glowing monitors casting that same ghost blue light across the room. The stream was still running. 24 hours now, maybe more. Chat was dead quiet. No spam, no donos. Just the occasional straggler typing. He's still going? Someone please stop this. This is so sad. I stepped into frame again, sat down in my chair, head tilted toward the lens, and I saw movement in the reflection of my monitor. The door was open. Two figures stepped inside, one with a bat, the other with a pistol. Survivors. The hunger twitched in me, but the human part, it didn't move. Not this time. One with the pistol stepped forward, raised it, hesitated. I think he's still. In there, she whispered to the guy with the bat. She wasn't wrong, but she wasn't right either. I looked at the camera, that little green light, and for the first time in days, I reached for the mouse. The shot rang out the same second I clicked end stream. Everything went black, and then light. But not my monitors. No. Not the glow of a loading screen. This was warm, soft. I was sitting at my desk. Again. Except the chat box was full of love, not fear. Messages scrolling fast. We love you, man. Thanks for every stream. See you on the next one. I leaned back in my chair, smiled for real this time, and then the feed faded. No outro music, no fancy effects. Just me, logging off. For good. Streaming was my life. It kept me connected when the world felt far away. But now, there's no chat, no alerts, no game to win, only silence. And maybe somewhere out there, the camera's still rolling, but this stream, it's over.